Mrs. Anjali Jaipuria ma'am's vision to integrate traditional wisdom with modern educational practices is an inspiration to all. It fills me with great pride to mention that her work as an educator has been recognized by numerous awards from various organizations. Her projects to raise consciousness among children are also globally recognized. Her wisdom and dedication is an inspiration to countless people striving for perfection. She was recently honored with Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Excellence in Education as a Public Service Citation 2024 award. She has the power to defy limits and shatter barriers, transforming challenges into opportunities. Please join me in welcoming her with a round of applause. Ma'am, we request you to please address the gathering.
Good morning, respected Major General A.K. Chaturvedi ji, Mrs. Chaturvedi, parents, Pramini ma'am, Deepa ma'am, Asha ma'am, the pillars of our school, our teachers, and my dear, dear students. Heartiest congratulations, first of all, to dear Pramini ma'am, whose stellar leadership qualities have bound the school together in a circle of trust and values of love and compassion, and has sent us on a trajectory of progress, both inner and outer. Heartiest congratulations to our teachers, the stars of Jaipuria, who have given and striven beyond their limits. I salute your personal enthusiasm, which never satiates. Your enthusiasm for enhancing your beloved students' knowledge and grades. Heartiest congratulations to our parents. And heartiest congratulations, dear students of ICSE batch 2023-2024. You have raised the bar for the present ICSE batch, and now the sky is the limit for them. When you were preparing for your exams, some of you must have followed a schedule where every 2 hours you needed a little gap, a little break. I need to go out and have a look at my cell phone, or go and meet my mom, or take a snack. While others may have needed to study constantly for 8-9 hours without a single break. You see, each one of us has a rhythm, our own rhythm of our being, our own swadharma. And to discover that swadharma, to discover dharma, is perhaps the most important thing to do in life. But first, we must understand what is dharma. Just today morning, Chaturvedi ji said, so sweetly, he said, you know what? Most people don't understand the difference between dharma and religion, and the difference between religion and spirituality. So I said in Jaipuria school, we try our best to speak about the difference between religion, spirituality, and dharma. So today, we'll just speak a little about dharma, just to understand what is dharma. See, there are different dharmas. There is a yug dharma, the dharma of that era. There is a kul dharma, the dharma of a family. There is a varn dharma, the dharma of a profession. There are dharmas, different dharmas for a child, for an adolescent, for a householder, and so on and so forth, so many. And each one of them have been turned into a science. Our scriptures write about these so clearly. There's nothing that you need to guess. And like the word Shraddha, dharma, dear students, has no English equivalent. It is one of the many non-translatables of Sanskrit. There are many words in Sanskrit which are not translatable into English. Shraddha isn't. And similarly, dharma. And there are many. There's a book that's come out on the non-translatables of Sanskrit. First of all, we must understand that dharma is not religion. Religion may help us to reach that point that we start searching for dharma. So religion does not have to be left, but religion helps us to reach to that point that we start looking for what is spirituality. And spirituality will definitely lead us to the point that we start looking for dharma. So we'll talk about dharma today. Dharma, generally people think dharma, oh, meri conscience is my dharma, it's telling me my dharma. But let me tell you very clearly, students, the dharma is not the voice of the conscience. Why? Because our individual conscience speaks to us in the language of our education. Let me give you an example. I've been taught since childhood to be a strict vegetarian. So my conscience will never allow me to eat meat, right? But someone else has been fed with non-veg food from beginning, from childhood. His conscience will find nothing wrong in eating non-veg. None of them are wrong. So the conscience will speak the words of our education, our atavism. So we cannot say that conscience will give me the voice of dharma. No, dharma is much higher. My dear students, is the voice of the soul. It is the dynamic rhythm of the universe. Dharma cannot be taught. It has to be experienced. It has to be lived. Let us for a moment imagine that we are surfing in the Pacific Ocean. Those of us who attempt to surf knowing the rhythm of the waves, जिसने waves के rhythm को समझा है, and then they go and ride the waves on their surfboard, they will ride the waves successfully because they have understood the rhythm of the waves. On the contrary, those of us who unintelligibly enter the ocean without any knowledge of the waves will sometimes ride them successfully by chance, and more often than not, they will hurl themselves against these great tides and be swept away again and again, pained every time. The secret is to learn the rhythm of the waves, their dharma. You know what? Such is life. Yes, I'm referring to our life on this planet, our life in this universe. Our life, our universe, our planets are all governed by a rhythm, a movement, a law. Nothing here is happening by chance. Nothing. Nothing happens by chance. There is a rhythm, and this rhythm of life is called dharma. The root word of dharma, who can tell me? There are many Sanskrit students here. What is the root word of dharma? Any Sanskrit student who knows? No? Dhri. Dhri. Dhri means that which holds, that which unites, that which supports, that which brings together. Words that come out of Dhri, think about it. Can anybody tell me some words with Dhri? Think about it. Yes? Dharti. What does Dharti do? Supports us, holds us. Any other? Dharya. Beautiful. Any other? Dharmatma. Any other? Dhi. Even the English word, the, it gives you a stability, the universe. Not a. The is supposed to be the definite article. A is supposed to be the indefinite article. The gives you certainty. Dharma gives you certainty. There isn't enough time. Otherwise, we would have spoken about certainty, permanence, and immortality, and the three people who looked for it, but later sometime. Therefore, the word dharma means that which holds together, that which shapes definitely, that from which you cannot escape, that which unites. Today, I'll share with you 3 concepts of dharma, from which you can come out with 3 definitions of dharma. The first concept, and the most important to begin with, comes with the word. Anybody? I've spoken about dharma once to you guys. What is that one word in English which is the beginning of dharma? Does anybody remember? The word ought. O-U-G-H-T. The words ought to clearly signify the difference between an animal and a man. Can we say to a lion, he ought not to kill a deer? Can we say that to a lion? Why? Because he is already following his dharma. But in the mind of man, there has been an evolution. And now we are subject to the words ought to, right? Ought can be applied only to human beings. Ought is the starting point of dharma for us humans. So let us come up with the first definition of dharma. Dharma is that which we ought to do, right? First definition, please keep it, hold it. First definition is dharma is that which we ought to do. Now, the second, what is the pursuit of dharma? The pursuit of dharma is to become better and better than what we are. Keep on striving towards perfection. It is to become what we ought to become. So we arrive at the second definition of dharma. Dharma is that by the pursuit of which we become better than what we are. Second definition. Now the third definition will need a little bit of thinking. The third point to be thought about is that which we ought to become must be existing somewhere. कहीं तो वो होगा ना कि यहाँ हमको this is where I'll get my dharma from. So it exists somewhere. Nothing can come into existence from nothing. Even that which we ought to be, but it does not exist here, it must be existing somewhere. That final point of dharma. The third definition of dharma will get formulated from that thought that that which exists somewhere but does not exist here needs to be brought down, right? Through their tapasya, our Vedic rishis reached that state where they discovered dharma. They discovered Surya Savitri. This is what Sri Aurobindo has explained very clearly. They discovered, what did they discover? Surya Savitri. Now Surya Savitri is an image. It's not, we're not talking about the physical sun. They named it Surya Savitri because there was such immense light there. And that Surya Savitri is where the will of the divine rests. Dharma is the will of the divine. What else did they discover? They also discovered Rita. What is Rita? Rita are the strings from Surya Savitri, which have the dynamic capacity to pull us upwards. But when will Rita pull us upwards? When we sincerely strive, when we sincerely aspire, when we aspire for dharma, and we try to catch hold of Rita, Rita will pull us upwards. The word Rita in the Vedas means that which is correct, that which is true, that which is precise. There is no vagueness about it. That which is accurate. They discovered that there is Rita somewhere that has the capacity to be pulling us up towards Surya Savitri where there is dharma. So the third definition of dharma is the pursuit of Rita. What is Rita now? They are not strings. It's just a symbol that we are using. The image that is given in the Vedas for Rita is rays of the sun. Now this is also only an image. You know, rays of the sun, they are absolutely straight. Are they ever crooked? They are absolutely straight. So we had to use imagery because it is the imagery that will help us to connect. The right action is always the straight action. There is no crookedness in dharma. The Vedas call the right action Rita. The Vedas say that dharma is to reach Surya Savitri, or the will of God. Simply put, it means that we should be in a state of consciousness where the divine will is like an arrow which God, the archer, is shooting through us. But the arrow will reach its mark when we have become the perfect bow. And to become the perfect bow, it is not that our Vedas have not given us the way. They haven't left us like this. The Vedas have told us that to reach Surya Savitri, there are 4 states of consciousness, which if you embody in your being, you will be able to reach Surya Savitri. And our blocks are named after those 4 states of consciousness: Varuna or vastness. Then, come on children, our blocks: Varuna, then Mitra, friendship, the state of consciousness where friendship exudes out of us, unconditional friendship. And then Aryaman, tapasya, hard work, effort. That's what you all have done to reach here today. And finally, Bhaga, where we can enjoy. There is no harm in enjoying ourselves. Even Manusmriti has given us, and you can Google it, there's no time now, 10 states of consciousness. I can name just a few for you. It has given us 10 states of consciousness like Dhriti, patience, Kshama, forgiveness, Dhamma or self-control, Asteya, non-stealing, and many others. So those of us who want to become the perfect bow, who want to be able to catch Rita and climb up towards the will of God and let the will of God flow through us, for them it is important that you find that state of consciousness, strive to become that state of consciousness, elevate yourself to raise the standard of your consciousness. And this dharma is not only in Surya Savitri. The secret today is that this dharma is also within each one of us. Like a reservoir, it's within us, which is vast and luminous, quiet and all-knowing. All we need to do is aspire to discover it within us and allow it to flow out from us, the voice of the soul. May we all strive to chisel all the facets of the diamond of our being till we shine out brightly. And after we shine out brightly, thereafter, enjoy fully all that comes to us, but only as a prasada, a gift from the divine. Thank you. Vande Mataram.